Okay, let's run that.
Oh, well, shit. Oh, you was like, where the money at? Where the money?
I was like, lucrative. You said what? I never please.
What?
Drink that shit.
I'll be the one to take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan.
Go ahead, dude. We ain't seen those in a minute. Bring them shoulders out. Shoulders out.
What is this?
Yeah.
What is this?
Put them shoulders out, dude.
Yeah.
I'm on those
Okay.
She want my time, she begging me to give me neck.
Okay.
Sheesh.
Yo, what's the deal, y'all? Hope all is well. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar. I'm Jalon.
And I am SER'DARIUS BLAIN.
And this is another episode of Nice and Neat.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
as you can see, let me give my brother his proper flowers right now. We have a gentleman in the building who has worked with some of the biggest stars in all of Hollywood. We talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, many more. And my man is blessing us right here on the Nice and Neat set, the Nice and Neat couch. Welcome, brother SER'DARIUS. How you doing, man?
Thank you, my brother, man. I'm good. I mean, I didn't know I deserved such kind words.
Oh,
but here I am. I'm really good, man. Just kind of trying to keep it in stride, man. Just trying to do everything I ever said that I ever wanted to do, you know? I think I got to a point in my life where I just realized that I wasn't kind of maximizing my opportunities because I wasn't completely like leaning into my faith and believing that some of them could really happen. So now I'm at a place where I'm like, look, time is of the essence. Let's just try every single thing that ever popped in your head so that you don't live with regret, you know? So that's where I'm at right now, and it's been going great for me because of it.
This is my good brother SER'DARIUS. I've been knowing it's been over a decade.
12
I've been
years.
knowing SER'DARIUS.
How did y'all
2010.
meet?
Man, you know what's crazy? We both met each other while we were working on our purpose. SER'DARIUS just moved out here to become an actor. I was sweeping the barbershop that I now own. And SER'DARIUS,
Hey, shameless plug.
I was sweeping the
Best
barbershop I
cuts.
owned. SER'DARIUS was an aspiring actor, and I remember he would come in. I wasn't even cutting his hair. I wasn't even cutting his hair in the shop at that time. He would come in and he would say all the time, like, man, I'm out here. I'm going to be an actor. That's what I really want to do. And, you know, we'll get into it, but SER'DARIUS actually dropped out of med school, bro, because to become an actor.
Wow.
And this was his story. He would talk about it all the time. And to see him being featured in films like Jumanji and seeing him on screens, and I'm on flights and I'm seeing him in the movie that I'm watching on flights, you know, it brings so much joy to my heart to be able to see, like, man, you just did what the hell you said you was gonna do, bro. You know, you didn't make a liar of yourself.
Hey, if I say it out loud, I have to do it. You know, that's it's a thing that I kind of challenge myself to do is I'll think about something for years at a time and never say it, especially if I have any type of doubt about it or know that I'm not going to put in the time to like really learn whatever that craft is. But once I say it out loud, the only thing that I have to live off of is my name till I die. And so I have to keep my word. I've never not kept my word with anybody. I've changed my mind. You know, sometimes you go through life and you realize that something doesn't serve you anymore and you no longer want that thing. So I've changed my mind and said, hey, I've edited, you know, how I feel about something, but I've never not kept my word. And so what I've done now is challenge myself by saying it out loud so that if anybody has heard it in my vicinity, now I have to do it because I said that I was going to do it.
It's
You know what
that
I mean?
level of accountability.
Yeah, it's keeping promises. You know, I think being accountable to yourself and keeping promises with yourself is one of the most important things you can do, especially like unspoken things. Like if I decide that I'm going to be your friend, there's an unspoken promise that I will be loyal to you. There's an unspoken promise that I will be punctual for you. There's an unspoken promise that if your mama's in town and she needs to be shown a good time, I'm going to make sure that she has a great time. You know what I mean? There's an unspoken promise that anybody that I bring to you or introduce to you is going to be someone of a certain ilk. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a gentleman. There's going to be somebody that you can count on.
Ilk?
Of a certain ilk. Yeah, it's of a certain
Okay, that's a new one for me.
status or a certain caliber.
Y'all look
You know
that
what I mean?
up.
Cut from the same cloth. That
Y'all
whole
look it up. I ain't heard that one. That's a good one.
That's the first time
Look
that
it
was
up.
used on Nice and Neat ever.
Yo, who taught you that?
Hey man, I challenge myself to use different vocabulary words
Hey,
sometimes.
but that's
Like,
not fair. You
I
read
have-
a lot of
yeah,
scripts, bro.
I do read a lot of scripts.
Crazy. Vernacular is crazy.
And you know what? I actually teach actors. I've been coaching actors for 10 years as well, and I tell them every day. I've helped 12 people become millionaires in the last 10 years, like
Wow.
easily. And the first thing I tell them is read every day. If you decide you want to be an actor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor or something like that, you want people to pay you 6 and 7 figures to do a 6 and 7 figure job, you got to put 6 and 7 figure effort in. I wake up every single day at 4:30 a.m. and I'm on the toilet for the first hour of the day until my legs get numb, reading articles, reading scripts, reading stuff. Words are my tool in my business to a point where like I can read a 12-page script and learn it in 30 minutes and go shoot right now. And if they need me to change something, I can go through and learn that and change it too. Words are my tool. If I want, say, 7-figure work, then I got to put that kind of work in as well. So I'm constantly learning new words, but also my mom was an English teacher. I'm a writer. So words are my superpower.
Definitely.
I wanna go back to you moving to LA, and because Jelon kind of just basically just briefly kind of passed over it, but you gave up going up your dreams of being a doctor to chase your other dream of being an actor. So like, how did that come about? You know, what gave you the courage to say, you know what? Because I know like being a doctor in a black family is something that like, you know, our families would love to see us become doctors, lawyers. What gave you the courage to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give up chasing this career that's pretty like a sure thing. You know, I mean, you become a doctor, you know, you're getting paid annually, you have salary, you know, now you're chasing the dream of becoming an actor where you don't know when the next job is coming.
For
you
sure.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, a lot stranger things have happened in my life. So that used to be probably one of the biggest, craziest things I ever did. But now there's a long list of much stranger things. But since I was a kid, I was a latchkey kid. My mom, you know, worked a lot, and so I was home alone a lot, and that's how I learned how to cook. Cooking ended up being one of my careers, and still is right now, which I'll talk about it another time. But I was always at home, you know, playing make-believe and creating costumes and making masks and stuff like that. You know, my brother, rest his soul, he was on the streets and stuff like that. I would be at home alone and just kind of doing my own thing. So my imagination became my best friend. I watched a lot of movies. Hook was the first movie I memorized word for word, top to bottom. Robin Williams was like one of my favorite people in history. You know, Ninja Turtles. I started memorizing all these movies, you know, word for word, and I wanted to be on Gullah Gullah Island on Nickelodeon and stuff. And I had a crush on Vanessa Baden, who's now like one of my really good friends, which is very strange. But I wanted to be on that show, and I would look at these shows, and I would be like, man, that would be so cool to be on there. But I was such a shy kid. I was the shyest person I've ever known in my life. So it seemed like an unattainable goal. Not only that, my family is Haitian and Dominican. So you talk about black families. My mom's black, but I was raised by a Haitian and Dominican family. My mother's adopted, so we don't know any of her family. So if I ever refer to my family, it is my father's family, who is all from Haiti. Being a doctor or a lawyer is the best possible thing you can be, and be an engineer, you know, work in the government, something like that. And you're talking about people who
Holy Trinity.
Yeah, exactly. So where are you from? Where's your family from?
Nigeria.
You're Nigeria. Oh, you already know.
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
Yeah.
you got to do something that brings your family honor. You know what I mean? It's very similar to like almost Japanese cultures and stuff like that, where it's all about provision. You're not a man if you cannot provide very well and have access for the people around you. It's such irony because this is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere because they've been raped of all their resources, right? So it is a brag for you to be fat or have fat babies because that means that you've had enough food. You understand?
Well. Yep.
So it's a big deal.
Opulence.
So being a kid that was, you know, pretty much straight A student my whole life, never got in trouble, never went to the principal's office. I don't even know what that place looks like. Never been suspended, never been arrested, none of that stuff. I became kind of the, you know, great white hope from my family almost, you know what I mean? And it was a thing where like I was constantly being compared to my other cousins. They were like, why can't you be more like SER'DARIUS? Or why can't you get grades like him? Why can't you? And it created enemies within my family because people were like, man, you're the reason why they look down on us kind of thing. And so my whole life, I always wanted to be a doctor and you know, make my family proud. And it got to a point where like I was second year into my bio major at Florida Eastern University. And I sat in class one day and I couldn't pay attention. I couldn't like focus on the teacher. I couldn't hear anything. It was like I was underwater. It was like blue, 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 because I was thinking about something else. I was thinking about this acting thing. which was strange because I always just ended up falling into roles, falling into local community theater and stuff like that. Yeah, I wasn't pursuing acting ever. I was 20 years old when I started acting. I wasn't like doing it since I was a kid. Though I had been in plays since I was like 12 years old, it wasn't my main focus because I'm like, I'd never seen an actor before. I'm from Miami. I don't even know what that looks like. I know football players, basketball players. I've never seen an actor before. But I'm sitting in this bio class and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. And then I was like, I don't know what I want to do, but I don't want to do this. And I was there on a double scholarship too, double academic scholarship.
That's crazy because the only double scholarships we know is he played basketball and football.
Right.
Seriously. Like,
for real.
I don't even know what a double academic scholarship really is.
I was in specialized programs from the time I was in like
you got reserve money or something like
Yeah, you got reserve money.
all good. Yeah,
So I went to a magnet school where you could be in college in 9th grade at the same time as going to high school. So I already had a scholarship from my academics from there, but I also had a scholarship for playing trumpet too. I was in band. By the time I was in 10th grade, I declined that from Florida State. And then I had my regular academic scholarship just from being on dean's lists and all that stuff for years, right? So when I decided to drop out of school, I called up my dad. Well, I talked to my mom first, who was a 25-year educator. She's been a teacher since I was born, right? And when I figured if I tell my mom I want to drop out and like go pursue acting, because I'd been offered an acting scholarship too. So I want to be clear. It wasn't like I was just like blindly going into it.
Was it like a performing art? It was performing arts? Or it was like,
yeah, it was acting. New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. I had gone to this talent competition at Disney and I won like every category that I was in for acting and for modeling at the time, like 50 pounds ago. But I used to have a jawline and everything. It was dope. It's crazy. Just look at old Facebook pictures. You'll be all right. But I decided then, when I got offered the scholarship to go to the New York Conservatory or to come out to LA, I was like, I'm going to go to New York and get the education in it first so I can have some longevity. So I'm like, I don't know that I'm not that talented or anything like that. And I'm really tall for an actor too. So
that's the thing.
That's a thing. Also, I've lost so many. I'm almost 6'5", so I've lost so many roles because the average actor is like 5'7", 5'8". Tom Cruise is 5'6". Wow. You understand?
Wow.
Like Will Smith is one of the tallest actors at 6'2". You know what I'm saying? Wow. Like it's a big thing. So and you look at somebody like Natalie Portman, she's 5'1", 5'2". So if I'm in a scene with her, there's too much headspace. Okay. So most of the time when I'm shooting, I have to spread my legs so that I can make myself shorter.
Because does that affect sound, right? Because the mics is outside of the frame.
It affects sound, but also it just makes the frame too big. If you talk to this guy, it'll make the frame too uneven. There's too much headspace between one person. So they're usually short. They're little chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? But I decided to drop out of med school, and I told my mom first because I figured her being the educator, she would kind of talk me off the ledge and be like, nah, stay in school. And I was hoping that she would. Have you ever had a dream where you're like, man, I kind of hope somebody will tell me to stop so I won't do it because I'm kind of scared
Make
anyway?
the decision for you. You don't want to make the decision.
Right. Let them make the decision for it. It's easier if I say my mom and my dad said I can't do it. My mom was like, hell yeah, go. I always wanted to do that myself. She was like, and my parents.
I'm sorry, your mom, she's not from Haiti. She's from,
my mom's American.
She's from America. Okay.
Yeah.
American are more a little progressive. They're more progressive.
Yeah, far more progressive. But my mom is also, my mom is a gunslinger, man. She was adopted. Both of her parents died by the time she was 19 years old. She's been just kind of getting it out the mud her whole self, her whole life. And me and her, we moved around a lot. I moved 22 times by the time I was 25.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So like
22 times.
Consistency and stability is not really a thing for me except in the relationships that we had. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really like attached to any one thing ever. And my mom was like, go try it. If it doesn't work out for you in the next 5 years, then go back to school. You still have your scholarships. That's the time frame that you had to use it. So go ahead and do that. And I was like, that's actually a good idea. So I called my dad and I told him, I was like, hey Dad, we decided, am I allowed to cuss on here?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
He said, oh,
I gotta
fuck.
get that one out. No, so I called my dad.
All right.
Called my dad and I was like, hey Dad, I think I'm gonna take this opportunity to go to New York and go to this acting school. And he said, actor? For what? You going to be an actor? I said, yeah, that's like the goal. Oh, is you going to be in TV and movies? Are you stupid? You stupid black American. What's wrong with you?
Oh, shit.
And then he goes on this tirade. He's like, Regina, why you let him do that for? My mom's name is Regina. Why you let him do that for? First you let him get the earring. He's look like and now he's going to drop out of school. My dad, love him to this day. He's one of my biggest supporters, but he didn't talk to me for like 2 years at that point. Because he was like, you're squabbling away an opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what? I look at my son. I have an 8-year-old son myself. If he ever came to me and said something like that, I would even be a little bit like, this ain't for the faint of heart, man. Like, this is a really crazy ass business to have to try to go pursue. You literally, like you said, you killing to eat every day. I got to go hunt for my food every single day. But you know what? It feels so good when you eat a plate off of something that you built with your own hands and your own passion. And like I was talking to you about earlier, like something that's like calling you inside. This thing wouldn't leave me alone. I have extreme social anxiety. I'm nervous right now talking to y'all. And all the homies that I see all around plenty, blah, blah, and I've been knowing you. I get nervous in social situations and stuff like that. So I was like, if I want to be an actor, how am I gonna pursue this while having crazy ass anxiety? And before every carpet, I'm in the car like doubled over, like, like my manager has to like push me out of the car and stuff. But when I get up there and the lights turn on, it's like being on stage for that first time where I'm like, oh, I'm here, I'm alive, and I'm the party guy then.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I attack this anxiety thing that's crippling me to the point where like sometimes I can't get my lines out. I can't get out a hello. My jaws are clenched tight. So I meet guys like you who are real cool and handsome. You got your shit together and all that stuff. And I'll come in these rooms and I would be so quiet that niggas would think that I'm arrogant or something. I'm stuck up. Oh, this nigga can't talk to nobody. He's like, no, I'm scared.
I have anxiety.
That's the truth. And I'm 6'5", 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, I'm scared. And you know what? I was like, I'm going to embrace this. I actually am afraid. But what do I do to get past that fear? I step in the room and I say hello to each single person. Hey, what's up? What's your name? What's your name?
the easiest way.
Where are you
Easiest
from?
way to get over it.
Where are you from? Find commonality between people. And that's the thing that's like really kind of helped me in my career is like, I just jumped in there. I was like, okay, I'm going to jump in head first. I decided I'm going to do this thing. I said it out loud. Now I have to actually do it. If I don't, I can never show my face in Miami again. I can never show my face in my family again because I did something stupid. The stupid thing worked out though.
It's only stupid if it doesn't work out.
If it doesn't work.
So you said you actually had an action that you were able to do to kind of help you get over your anxiety. We talked about therapy plenty of times on this show. Did you go see a therapist that helped you gave you tools to say, you know what? The first thing you should do when you walk into a room when you're nervous is to find commonality within people that are in the room.
Oh man, you said the T word amongst black people. That's like a cuss word almost.
Not here. Though.
Not here.
Not
This
here.
is a
No,
safe
and that's
space.
what
It's a
I
safe
love.
space.
I love the progressiveness of everything that you guys have been doing. I've watched every episode of you guys' show for the last couple of years. Literally every single one.
Thank you, bro.
And I love what you guys talk about. And I love that you're strong, supportive, cool ass black men that's doing cool shit too. At the same time, it's not like
Yeah, we
a
appreciate
bunch of
that, bro.
squares either. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing too. Like I wouldn't really fit in with that.
We understand. We understand that part.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like,
Progressive nerds, man. I love it. Therapy, no, it wasn't therapy. It was a whole lot of prayer and prayer groups and stuff like that. My mom is also a minister on the side. So it was a lot of prayer, but I read a lot of self-help books and stuff like that. You know, the art of negotiation and stuff like that, and how to kind of basically just use the art of manipulation to better your life. I am interested in therapy now. Again, I grew up in the South where it's like kind of unacceptable. You don't even really talk about that.
Taboo down there.
It's
But
not
now
even the
it's
South,
very
bro.
taboo.
You grew up black.
it's everywhere.
There's
It's
that
everywhere,
too,
bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we're taught to power through so much stuff. There's like at one point, like everybody's about to have a damn mental breakdown at some point. The therapy conversations didn't really start until 7 years ago. My brother was shot and killed in Miami on 441 outside of a Checkers over a disagreement. My brother lived an alternative lifestyle in terms of what he did to make money, I'll say, for many years. And that wasn't even the thing that took him out. It was an argument, a disagreement between him and another dude about a girl.
Of course.
And that's how he got shot and killed. It's ruined my life. It literally has absolutely ruined my life. Great things happen for me all the time. Make plenty of money. My kid's good. My mom's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's good around me, but it ruins your life from the inside out when you realize like I'm gonna be 60 years old and not have my brother to sit on the porch with and just talk about how dumb we were. When we were kids. It leaves a gaping hole in your chest. And at points, sometimes I feel like I literally can't physically breathe. And I'm like, I can't sleep. I've had insomnia for 7 years and stuff like that. So now I overly obsess on working. I'm working on 3 companies at the same time. I have a full-blown acting career. I'm a son and I'm a father full-time too. So it's like you start filling those voids with more tangible things and stuff that might not serve you. You're running yourself raggedy. I'm 35 years old. I don't want to feel and look as old as I feel like I feel and look.
Right.
So like I want to fix this thing. So I've started now the conversations with, therapists and stuff here and there. And I don't ever stick through it and do it consistently. It's like I'll do it for 2 weeks and then I'm out. And then 2 weeks and a few months when I feel like too much pressure is coming on me and then I'm out. But it's like there's no reason like my life should be as good as it is on paper, but I'm not fully enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm finding opportunities to try to serve other people instead. Because I'm like, if I can see somebody else smile at least, maybe I'll feel better about myself. It's that whole provision thing that I was talking about with you before, Omar. It's like figure out a way to fill those voids, but you can't do it in your own strength. And I think sometimes you definitely need help.
You said you grew up in Miami Gardens, right? And you mentioned that you were a straight A student pretty much your whole life, but your brother, he wasn't necessarily like you.
He was in the streets,
right? He was just in the streets. But so growing up, how you grew up, right? How did you? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of kids that you grew up with were looking at you like, yo, like you're square.
Oh yeah, I was definitely
like,
the nerd.
hey, yo, like you're not one of us. You're not.
I was the poor kid too.
How did you balance that? And how didn't you? Like, what made you stick to like being a straight A student and not just become a part of the streets as well?
I've always been a self-starter though since I can remember. I'll say that. At a very young age, I started feeling like I was like a burden. Like I was a burden to my mom. I would see my mom struggling and stuff like that. I was just never wanted to be in the way, in her way. And I never wanted her, honestly, this is the first time I'm probably ever saying it out loud. I never wanted her to not want me, or I never wanted her to feel like I'm the reason why. My mom was gorgeous. My mom looked like Vivica Fox when I was a kid. Like I had to beat men off of her constantly. And she's 67 years old and she's still beautiful. But I didn't want to be the thing that like held her back in life. So I always try to have my own. I remember being 6 years old and not wanting to ask my mom for like $5 and stuff like that because I didn't want to stress her out. So me and my brother went to the store and we bought a pack of candy and we went around door to door and we sold candies for $1. Hustled it, and we went back and we bought the $5 box this time. And we went back with $20. That time we kept flipping it and flipping it and flipping it. So, I mean, me and my brother, like, I was 7 and he was 9, and we have $50 in our pocket in 1993. You know what I mean? Like, that's not normal. That was a lot of money back then.
That's big,
Ice
that's big
cream
money.
truck came around and was like, what's up? Where we at? You know what? Let me get the gumballs and the sausage. Pickle sausage. Make it stack. You know? So, like, I never wanted to be a burden anywhere that I went. I saw the things that were going on between my parents in this broken household, where, there was infidelity and stuff like that. And unfortunately, they ended up, divorcing and stuff like that. And I knew it was just me and her, and I was going with her. And so I just wanted to help keep my household afloat. And by the time I was 9 years old, my mom, she had decided she was going to go back and get her master's at 40 years old, which I commended at the time. I understood what it was. I was 8, and then I ended up turning 9 when we moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. She went to Oral Roberts University.
Did you really understand, though, at the time?
I did.
Like, what she was...
I did. You know what's funny? I remember everything from the time I was like 3 years old to now. I remember almost every single day. If you remind me something that happened that day, I could tell you what happened in the day. And I think that's really helped me in my acting career too. Is my memory is like phenomenal, crazy. I did understand it. But my mom always talked to me like a man since I was a little kid, man, like always. And it's something I've incorporated in my parenting. I always ask my son, you want me to talk to you like a boy or talk to me like a man? And he's like a man. I think people will meet you where you launch them. If I say to you, I know that you're not a trustworthy person, I'm going to trust you right now, even though I know nobody trusts you, you're going to try your best to be trustworthy. You know what I'm saying? Like you're incentivizing people's behavior by expecting the best of them, I think, many times. Not always, but many times. So she expected the best of me, and I didn't want to let her down. So she told me, when we turned 9 years old, she drove me to this big statue called the Praying Hands at Oral Roberts University. She used to drive a little broke down pickup truck, and she said to me, you want me to talk to you like a boy or talk to you like a man? I said, talk to me like a man. And she said, okay, well, we're going to have to be in sacrifice mode for a while. Mama don't have no money. Don't ask me for anything. Just do your best, And I said, okay. Enough said. Next day, I started that candy business up again. at 9 years old because we had moved away from Miami for that 3-year period. I started up the candy business again with my friend Hassan Ghazi, who's out in Dallas, Texas. He's now the biggest retail wholesaler for auto parts in the Southeast. Wow. And he makes a lot of money. You know what I mean? He's doing really well. But we were the 2 poor kids and the 2 brown kids in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's no other brown kids around us. But we started a trash business, and we ended up having 5 kids working for us, giving us a percentage of their sales every day. We made T-shirts and everything like that. We would go around on roller skates and bikes and skateboards, taking out people's trash in this giant apartment complex that we lived in. So the spirit of entrepreneurship has always been inside of me. And how I stayed away from it was that I saw the other adults or bigger kids around us who were getting killed at 15 years old and stuff like that, doing bad things, you know? And plus we just didn't really need to do that. I mean, anybody who wanted to be in the streets in our family is because you chose to do that. You wanted to do that. We have doctors and lawyers and engineers, and my dad ran the Miami airport for 35 years and stuff like that. We're not no bumps.
So you don't feel like people that are in the streets and that get in trouble are in trouble because of their environment?
I'm actually really glad that you asked that question because I think that people are products of their environment. I mean, it's been proven scientifically if you speak blessings over a plant and you speak curses over the other one doesn't grow. You know which one doesn't grow, right? So I think you can definitely be products of your environment. I was just really lucky that I had a praying mother who was like, if I ever catch you outside doing anything you're not supposed to, I will kill you. You know what I mean? But she was also an educator. So she had the ability to introduce me to new worlds via books and education and a whole lot of faith, bro. I think honestly, prayer really saved my life. I remember going to my brother. I cut school when I was in 10th grade for the first time. I remember the 50 Cent album had just dropped, Get Rich or Die Trying. And I got it for my birthday. It was like end of February. And I was a poor kid in school. I didn't have money and cool clothes and all that stuff. And I was made fun of for it constantly. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't want to be that kid anymore. I want to be cool. I want to get girls. I want to
do the cool shit.
All that stuff. You know what I mean? So I had saved up a couple $100s, and I went over to my brother. I cut school that day, and he saw me out, and he was like, "What are you doing out?" I was like, "What you doing out? You supposed to be in class too."
Oh, but he's a senior at this time. If you in 10th grade.
Yep. Exactly. And I was like, I came to him. I remember I was wearing some South Pole sweats.
Come on, South
some
Pole.
Yellow South Pole sweats with a blue South Pole silk shirt back in the day.
Fresh from Macy's.
Yep.
Fresh from Macy's.
Exactly, with some Ninja Warrior on it. I don't know what it was, Naruto or something. And I walked up to him and I was real serious and I pulled out a wad of cash from my pocket and I said, "Put me on." He said, "What is?"
Put me on.
What is this? I said, "Put me on. I don't want to be broke no more." He slapped the money out of my hand. It was like $150 just all on the floor, blown around. And he punched me in my face, punched me right here. It hurt so bad, I thought my cheekbone broke. You know what I mean? Tough kid. Best football player I've ever seen in my life, by the way. I'll tell you about that one day. But he hit me so hard. And he was like, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "You're not like us. You're not supposed to be doing this." He said, "Don't ever ask me no dumb shit like that again. Now go to class." And I went to pick up the money. He was like, "No, I'm keeping that shit too." And I walked back to class and I never skipped school again. But it's crazy because people in that life can even see a mark of distinction on you. He's like, "You're special, man. You're different. You're not supposed to be doing this shit." But also my brother struggled with mental and emotional issues and stuff like that too. Mental health is a really, really big deal. It's a hot button subject we talk about constantly now, and nobody ever really delves too deeply into it unless you're a doctor and stuff like that. But it affects all of us. And there was something wrong with him. He had, his brother, who's a paranoid schizophrenic, had, and I say his brother because my brother, when I say my brother, he's technically my cousin, but he lived with us my entire life. He lived with my mother before I did. He's 2 years older than my mom had him. So he had a half brother as well who was a paranoid schizophrenic, and he, my brother had, hyperactivity and ADHD and blah, blah, and they had him on pills constantly, and he would be either extremely depressed or extremely hyper, and everybody would just call him the bad kid. You know what I mean? You can be socially retarded. To retard means to slow down. that can actually slow you down. I had another very close friend of the family who was a straight A student at one point, and then she moved to a different area, and she was getting D's and F's, and ended up being put in remedial classes, which was insane to me. But it was all based on the kind of stimulation that she was getting, or lack thereof, in her new environment. I definitely think environment has a lot to do with it. A few of us get lucky and get an opportunity to quote unquote get out. And I was one of those people, but I had the right stimulation behind closed doors at home and stuff like that. I just knew they just held us to a kind of different standard. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what happened.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Sorry.
I wake your ass up a little bit.
Wait.
Should have warned you.
Training camp.
I'm sorry. This is your first experience here. Okay.
It is.
Okay.
What's going on?
What's the deal, y'all? Welcome back to the Nice Neat Halftime Show. I'm your host, Omar. We got SER'DARIUS here in the building. He's sharing a story, man. He's dropping some game, dropping knowledge, and we're just very appreciative to have him here, man, in your presence. I'm enjoying the story so far, man.
Thank you, brother.
Like, I really am enjoying your story because I didn't know any of these things about you other than what we know from you being on the screen. So I'm enjoying it right now. But with that said, man, we're gonna get into our favorite part of the halftime show, which is Dim the Rules, man. What we got, dude?
Yeah, so recently, I don't know if you guys saw it, but they just came out with a Black Panther trailer.
Oh yeah,
Y'all saw it?
It looks so
crazy.
fire.
It's crazy.
I didn't see the trailer.
It's crazy. But so they just came out with a Black Panther trailer, and rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But the Black Panther character is actually not in it. Okay, because I'm assuming they killed him off. I don't know the story.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Are you sure Black Panther's not in it?
Right.
He's
not in the trailer.
I don't know.
He's not in the
I
trailer.
don't know.
Are you sure?
There's no Black Panther.
There's no Black Panther.
There's no Black Panther.
You fucking with me?
Ain't no.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so listen.
I'm not fucking with you. I'm dead ass. Go ahead.
Is
He
he
is
in
in
it?
there, and he's in the end when his hand comes out. What are you talking about? Go ahead.
In this new one.
In this new one?
Yes, go ahead. We're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh
Okay.
shit!
Go ahead.
ahead. Finish your question.
So based on what I saw, right? I know I didn't see Chadwick Boseman in there, obviously.
Obviously. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of talk in the Marvel universe about them recasting the Black Panther, right? And I want to know what your guys' thoughts on if you think they should recast them, or they should recast a different actor as Black Panther, or they should just kill Black Panther off in respect of Chadwick Boseman.
No. We can't do that.
We can't do what?
We can't kill him off. He's the one black superhero that
kill the
character. They cannot kill the Black Panther. They cannot
can't
kill the
kill
Black
the Black
Panther
Panther
off.
off.
You know what I mean? We need to find another suitable actor who could, live off. I mean, like keep his legacy going. You know what I mean? But I would be very disappointed if they got rid of Black Panther because of Chadwick's death. You know what I mean? It's obviously we love him. He killed the role. We don't want to see anybody else doing it. But unfortunate things happen. But we've also seen 5 different Spider-Mans. You know what I mean? Like
5 different Batmans.
Batmans. You know what I mean? So like, what's the difference?
7 different James Bonds.
I don't think we should have to suffer in our superhero lives because of what happened in our real lives. Like that's the whole point for us.
It provides hope. Yeah.
It provides hope. It's for us to get away. Like these are superheroes to us. It was create a different universe.
Straight up.
You don't even have to do that.
They don't.
Okay. Want me to tell you?
Go ahead.
Tell
run
us.
it.
You the actor.
All right.
Do you know everything?
My area of expertise. No, let me stop. So first of all, there have been several iterations of several different characters, right? It's been several Supermans, Spider-Mans, Batmans, etc. And we've loved all of them separately. Actually, the new Batman was actually really dope to me, but I also love Christian Bale, and I think it was because it was such a different.
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Oh,
Come on,
man.
he's a dope actor.
I don't
want
to say the things I really want to say.
All right, don't say them. It's okay. But when you look at what the Marvel Universe has been able to really do, really dope, is introduce completely unknown actors and turn them into these mega stars. Who was Chris Hemsworth before he became Thor? You have no idea who that guy is.
Nope.
You did not know who Tom Holland was when he became Spider-Man. You did not know who Chadwick Boseman was when he became Black Panther. I was there the day that he booked Black Panther at my friend Lamorne Morris's house. Shout out to Lamorne, love that guy.
Hey, shout out to Lamore.
We were in Lamorne's kitchen, and there was this dark-skinned dude that I had seen on a couple of guest stars, but I couldn't remember where I knew him from. But he was in the kitchen, and he was doing what is that when they do the he was doing martial arts in the Tai Chi in the kitchen. And he doesn't drink or smoke or anything like that, you know. I do. And so he was just hanging out, and he was just this really calm, serene guy. And Lamorne told me, he's like, yo, this nigga just booked Black Panther. We was like, what? What's Black Panther? And then like, the black superhero, I was like, oh, yeah, the cat dude. And I'm like, yeah. And he was so excited about it. This was 5 years before Black Panther ever came on camera, by the way.
Oh,
this was
wow.
5 years before. That's how long the
Got
waiting
you.
process
So that's
was.
why you said they book actors that pretty much no one knows.
Yeah, because
he did a
it's
lot of work in 5 years.
It's a tentpole movie as well. A tentpole movie is one that basically props Hollywood up. These are billion-dollar franchises like Jumanji, Fast and Furious, you know, any Marvel movie, et cetera, right? So they don't even pay these people a lot of money to even do it. He made a couple $100,000 on the first one, which after taxes is nothing.
Yep.
You lose like 60% of your check. But anyway, 5 years that he was waiting before he actually got to put on the Black Panther suit. So these are nameless and faceless actors, basically, that can be plugged into any of these roles. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman, one of the kindest guys I've ever known. My boy Michael B. Jordan was extremely hurt when this happened. He kind of hasn't been the same since, and so love to him. But this is not a role that can stop. It has to continue on.
Gotta live on.
Also, keep in mind, in the comics, there have been several Black Panthers. Chadwick's dad in the movie was Black Panther before him. Every king of Wakanda is the Black Panther. You just have to eat of the heart-shaped herb. Michael B. Jordan became a Black Panther when he ate the herb too, right? The flower, the purple flower, right? So anybody, whoever the next king of Wakanda is, whoever his successor is the Black Panther.
Okay.
The Black Panther is always the king of Wakanda. So that's it.
No, he didn't have a son in the movie.
He didn't have a son in the movie, so then it would be your brother. That would be the next person, or blah, blah.
And his brother is technically
Or your sister.
or your sister.
his brother is Killmonger. No, his cousin is Killmonger. They cousins.
Hey,
but
auntie.
Hey, auntie.
hey, auntie.
I think there was just a more of an emotional attachment to Chadwick than Black
It is.
Panther.
This
And
is so different.
and
I
it's
get
like-
why you would want
so
to.
like-
and
Like,
it's just
This
different
is
like that.
this is different.
Yeah.
Like he was on set and he was like the father figure of set. Like everybody was like, "Yo, Chadwick's here." Like it was safe. It was good. So when he passed, it hit. It was like our family member passed, and it's the same cast. And for them to recast somebody in the midst of the hurt still will be too soon for them.
Still
And that's
healing.
probably why he-
still healing.
They still healing, you know. And Ryan and Chadwick as director and star were really, really close, bro. Like really, really close. So for him to be like, okay, I'm gonna cast somebody new. For
I don't
this
think they should
film.
cast somebody new. I think that they should let Michael B. Jordan be Black Panther. I
As
think
just
that's
a new Black Panther in the thing.
as homage. I think it would be dope for the story too, for someone to go
Turn.
from dark to light.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think that's a dope story for Black men too. I think a lot of us have gone from dark to light in our
Yep.
lives, and I think it would be a great example to young men that you can still turn your life around.
Definitely.
A lot of people use movies and entertainment to decide to make major life choices and stuff like that. So why not use that as sort of a tool to kind of pay homage to Chadwick and stuff like that as well. You know, he was a walking light, and so I think what better person than his brother, his best friend in real life, you know, to play him.
Yeah, before this conversation,
Panther.
I had initially thought, nah, I wouldn't want to see anybody. I wouldn't want to see a new Black Panther because I had that emotional attachment to him, right? It's the first Black superhero. So, like, it was just a
Were
shame.
you attached to Aunt Viv like that?
Some people were though.
Some people were though.
Yeah. That's
people
what it's
still-
like.
Was I attached to her?
Yeah.
A lot of people still attached to
Yeah,
the first
some
on
people still
video.
attached to the first on video.
Hey.
I was too young. but
me
no, I
either.
wasn't. But I'm saying though, like that's kind of that was my position. But after hearing you guys speak, it makes so much sense. I think what you said about like yo, like this that Black Panther could just like be what it is, and then just like the character could still go on as somebody new, but not like it won't be the same exact, you know, What was his name? What was his name?
T'Challa.
T'Challa. Yeah, it won't be T'Challa.
It wouldn't be
Yeah,
T'Challa.
they had my man walking around like this, bro.
Yeah.
Doing this, dog.
Yeah, man.
Just out of curiosity, no one ever even asked that question when Christopher Reeves injured himself, right?
I mean, we don't know. We have the influx of social media now.
Right.
Talk to
Bro,
million
I
people
guess it's
around
true.
Also,
I guess that's true.
no actor though was as iconic as Chadwick Boseman, or as like
I mean, could there be a new Iron Man? That's pretty iconic.
at this point. But
Not-
we've gotten
not
Iron
a
Man
guy.
for 10, 15
Robert
years
Downey
now.
Jr. is
Iron Man.
I can't see
But
anybody
we've
else.
gotten him. Look how long we've gotten him. So if it happens, it's all right. We got enough of him. That's how I look at it. But I want to push the conversation forward. All right, and you said that you don't agree that they shouldn't recast.
I think they should recast him. Chadwick, being a student of theater too, he would say the show must go on. He would say it.
I feel like that
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
That's off.
That's where I'm at with it. They
you know
got
what
to
that mean,
recast.
dude?
And them?
Duh.
Rules.
And with that said, we're going to conclude this week's halftime show and get to the second half the only way we know how. That's with some positive energy, some positive vibrations, and a smile of course. That's how let's go.
First half, phenomenal. My man SER'DARIUS is here. He's telling us his story. And, you know, it made me, when you were talking about your moves, your consistent moves, you had 20 plus moves by the time you were 22 years old. It made me think how that doesn't make me feel like there was real stability in your life, yet everything that you did had structure. You and your mother's relationship was really structured. Your career path was structured. You were structured in school, but yet you had these moves that a lot of people would equate just naturally to like, if they're lacking structure, it's due to the fact of this. How were you able to just like overcome that to where that didn't even affect who you were as a person?
I think that's a bad assumption. It did affect me as a person. It affected who I am as a person for sure. There was a lot of instability in my life, but the constant was my mother. She was stable in her treatment of me and constantly like teaching me how to be a man and putting me around other very positive, strong men to kind of influence me. I've always been sort of a sponge. I could be in a room of people and just kind of pilfering information off of them. I was very lucky to have a lot of really good guy friends who had their dads in their lives and stuff like that, so I could suck information off of them and be like, okay, when I'm a dad, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, you know? It did affect me as a person. I think that I have attachment issues in both the negative and the positive. If I have a friend, if I find a friend, again, I went to so many different schools throughout the year. If I find a friend, like I want to show them that I am your friend. I'll do anything for you. And it turned into a point where like I was in my early 20s. I was like, am I like paying these niggas to be my friend? Holy shit, there's a commonality. Everybody's using me. What is this? Cutoff game got real strong. So I was like, okay, I have my best friend for 12 years was sleeping with my girlfriend. I didn't know at the time. I was the best man at his wedding, mind you.
Nah.
He was married and sleeping with my girlfriend. And now she's his wife and they have a kid together. It's like a whole crazy thing.
Whoa.
It's another day, another dollar. I had friends, you know, borrowing and never give back and yada. And I realized I was like, I have a lot of bad friendships right now for the first time in my life. And it's because I don't want to be alone, you know? And mind you, when I was a kid, I'm at home alone all the time. And so it took me back there. And then I was like, man, I have a lot of codependent relationships and friendships and all this stuff. Like, what's going on with me? Where's this coming from? And then I started having, again, attachment issues where like I was being attached to the wrong people, but also being very detached at the same time to certain people that were positive and good and people I should have been investing time into and that were actually reciprocating. When somebody gave back to me, I was like, oh, this feels weird. I don't want you to think I'm poor, I'm fine. And it's an impoverished mindset more than anything because I found a way, once I had, to get myself back in a position of lack because that's where I felt comfortable. I felt comfortable not having shit. So I would make sure I give it all away. I developed a gambling problem at 26, like out of nowhere. After like a huge argument with me and my dad and we didn't talk for a couple of years and all this stuff and right when my brother died and all this stuff. So I started, a lot of very self-destructive behavior. Women, It's a big one. I think guys don't talk about too. It's like, this player shit is dead, dog. It's not cool. It doesn't make you cooler. But me, I need a whole gang of around to feel good. I feel like, honestly, what it was, I got molested when I was 6 years old. And I was like, in my mind, by a man. And I need a 16-year-old boy is what it was. And I need to prove to myself in my youth that I'm not gay. I got every person in town. All of them want me, blah. And it was a thing that I had to like kind of wean myself off of. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, damn, man, I'm doing too much. That's nasty. That was nasty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying this to myself in the mirror. Like, yo, I haven't looked at myself in the mirror in 3 years because I'm ashamed of myself. You know what I mean? So my experiences definitely contributed to who I was as a person. You know what I'm saying? I never thought I would be a baby daddy. The fuck is that? My kid lives outside of my house half the week. It kills me. So I have to fill that void with busyness and doing stuff. I always expected to have a white picket fence, my woman, a dog, and 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? That was always the goal. So now I'm part of a statistic. I'm a black dude with a baby mama, quote unquote. And she is not that. And I always call her my son's mother, and we do a great job of co-parenting our beautiful son together and everything like that. But we both came from broken households. That shit influences you, man. Absolutely. It really, really messes you up. It can. So now I'm trying to go out of my way to overcorrect and make sure that he has everything and that he feels supported. And he, you know, I told his mother at the time, like, I want you to be in a happy, fruitful relationship and be in love. And I want my son to see his mother in love and treated well and stuff like that. So when his mother got married, I went out of my way to meet her guy and be like, look, I want us to all be on the same page. And, you know, I had to put my ego aside too and let another man teach my son. It killed me. But all because of a cyclical thing that had happened in my life too.
You said that you were molested.
Yep.
And is that something that you've spoken about openly a lot or before?
One time. I spoke about it one time on Now This interview.
And how did you get to a point where you're like, yo, I just want to share the fact that this is, I've gone through this. You know what I mean? Because like so many men would probably die with that.
For sure.
You feel me? So like, how'd you get the confidence? And what purpose did it serve you to say, yo, you know what? I'm just going to confront this and be open with it. I just turned 27. It was June. I was 27 years old, so my son was about 2 weeks old at that point. And I just moved into a new apartment. Can't remember what the conversation was exactly, but I was talking to my mom on the couch, and it kind of just slipped out. I had never spoken about it. It was a memory that was so deeply buried inside of me that I kind of forgot that it happened. You know, I think sometimes, not that I think this is scientifically proven, you go through a traumatic experience that's so bad sometimes that you'll actually pretend it never happened. Yep. And I see it happening with my mom a lot now too. My mom's been through the worst shit I've ever heard of anybody in my entire life and still remains positive and still tries to bring people to Jesus. And you know what I mean? The best person ever. I had buried these memories, but it slipped out one day. I was having a conversation on the couch with her, and it had come out a few days before that because I was talking to my girlfriend at the time. We were having some intimacy issues. I didn't feel attractive. That's the truth. I didn't feel attractive, but all these memories had started coming back from that experience. And it wasn't like a one-time thing. It was, honestly, I hate to speak on his truth because my brother's not here anymore. Me and my brother were both being molested by this person. And I basically told my girlfriend it's hard. Sex is really hard for me sometimes too, because those kind of memories kind of come back and stuff. And so like I'm a cuddler. Like I want to feel you. I want to touch you. I want to be around you. Yeah. But I'll go months sometimes in a relationship not having sex and completely forgetting that I should probably do that with this person that I want to feel attractive as well. You know what I'm saying? And so I told my mom about it on the couch that day, and she was stoic and silent. And after a while, she was really confused and thought I was lying. And then she started crying. And I was like, what is going on with you? And she was like, I can't believe you didn't put me in a position to be able to protect you. And I said, Mom, you couldn't have protected me. You know,
didn't want to tell you you were working all day and stuff like that. I didn't want her to feel blamed for it. But I also know my mother would have at that time too. My mother had a gun. She would have killed that boy.
Okay.
I didn't want him to die. He had mental issues.
Okay.
He was actually like rode the short bus kind of thing, literally. And he did it to someone else's kid on our block, and years later, and that person came with this big metal latch that goes into the gate, and they split his whole leg open. They broke his leg with this thing. They beat this kid down, who was also from an immigrant family and stuff like that. And you know what's crazy is, like, at this point in my age, 35, I feel so sorry for that kid, because the world is not kind to people with mental problems. The world wasn't kind to my brother with mental problems. I have friends that have them and stuff like that have ended up homeless and stuff like that. In many other countries, they would treat mental issues like a broken leg. Like, you're broken, let us fix you. Let's take you to the doctor and fix you. Here, it's such a faux pas. Like, nobody talks about it enough,
real,
because
right?
It makes you, what's that?
It's like not real.
It's not, yeah. Well, it's don't ask, don't tell. You know what I mean? Let's not even talk about it. Oh, she just crazy. Or like, he just mean. Or that's just a bad kid. It's not that. There's something actually chemically going on with these people to make them act this way.
So do you forgive him?
Absolutely.
That's crazy. I was gonna say that you speak with like forgiveness in your voice, bro. Like how you're speaking about the situation, how you're saying like, I didn't want nobody to hurt this dude. You know what I mean?
No, I understood. I understood then at 6 years old that something was really wrong with him, and I was the one. I was like, stop. Like, what is this? You know what I mean? It wasn't like. First of all, let me be honest and clear with y'all. Nobody was penetrating me or anything like that. It was nothing. It wasn't that. What made me want to talk about this? What made me want to say this? I know that there was other young men that were experiencing the exact same thing and are struggling with confidence and stuff like that. And at a point, I had an anger problem because of it. It manifested itself in so many different ways. I get in a fight every time I'm on a basketball court. Somebody say something to me wrong. Call me a faggot again.
Yep.
I'll beat your ass right now in front of everybody. Bad. You know what I mean? It manifested as anger problems. It manifested as depression. It manifested as intimacy issues, which I still, like, to this day, I'm like, damn, I can't believe this thing still bothers me, messes with me from 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted it as an opportunity to, like, kind of help other people. Like, look, you're not on your own with this thing, and it's perfectly normal to express yourself and find ways to get help and find ways to find forgiveness of yourself for not standing up for yourself in that moment and being powerless in that situation, putting yourself in a powerless situation, forgiving your parents, forgiving people for shit that they never asked you for forgiveness for is one of the hardest things you can ever do in your life. They're never gonna say sorry to you, and you have to say, I forgive you anyway. It's really hard to do. You know?
Damn, that's deep. Now I want to switch gears. I want to talk about your acting career, right? Who is, because I know you work with The Rock, you work with Kevin Hart. Who's the person that you were on set with or you were working with and you were like, yo, I can't believe I'm in front of this guy and like, this is it. This is happening. Who's that person? And then also, who's the person that you want that to happen for in the future?
Well, if you guys have ever seen any of the Jumanji movies, then you know that I'm not actually in any scenes with these people. They're on set with us and stuff like that, but we're not in any scenes together because we are them, right?
Yeah. You're younger Kevin Hart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Hilarious.
So funny. When I first read the script, I was like, are you sure I'm supposed to be playing Kevin or am I supposed to be The Rock? And they're like, no, you're Kevin. And I was like,
You're a younger Kevin who's taller than the older Kevin.
right.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Kevin is pissed off when he finds his body.
Kevin's 5'3", I'm 6'5". It's kind of hilarious. Who is that person that I've been in a scene with and been like, damn, wow. I don't know that it was a person. It's never been a person because I'm not kind of intimidated or enamored by anybody like that. It's like, I've been lucky to work with a lot of really dope people and see that they're human beings. It was a director. It wasn't an actor. I was in Star Trek Into Darkness in 2012, and I got to work with J.J. Abrams, and he walked in, and I was like, that's him. That's him right there. That's that guy. And he came up and talked to me. He was like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? He was like, I'm JJ. I was like, yeah. and he
That's that Peyton.
asked my opinion about stuff, and he was like, "Here, just improv a line here." Blah blah. I froze. I could never be Black Panther because I never freeze. Listen, I froze. But it hasn't been a person. Who that would be for me would be Will Smith, who is half the reason I'm an actor, and Denzel Washington, who's the other half.
Okay.
Come on.
But even then, man, I'm coming for their neck in that scene. I'm gonna try to take it. You know what I'm saying? It's like when Kobe played Jordan for the first time. Like you want to show every move you got.
Respect.
You know?
And you got to give it everything because the scene ain't even about you.
Nah, for sure. No, well, I'm a giving actor, so I'm always gonna try to find a way to highlight the other person. But I'm not getting stuck.
Nah,
not by any means.
I got to do my thing.
I love it.
Yeah, that's
I'm
fire.
off. I'm trying to get 40, baby.
Is
Let's
acting
go.
a competitive sport?
Hell yeah. It's a contact sport if you make it one. I'm physical as shit over here. I love acting so much. I didn't know I could love something so much. And I think that having my son has made me love it even more because you realize, and losing my brother has made me love it even more too because you realize how fleeting time is now too. It just adds a level of gravitas, weight, just heaviness to it, and like learning every bit of the craft. I've been teaching actors for the last 12 years as well, and helping them find their way in their careers and stuff like that, and really breaking down the business side of acting. I don't teach people how to act. I teach them how to be business people in acting, be a professional actor. Everybody's good out here. Every single person that comes to LA, you move from across the country, you are good at whatever that thing is that you came out here to do. You're in fashion, you wouldn't come out here unless you thought you were one of the dopest people in fashion.
Right.
If you're in entertainment, you are out here because you're one of the funniest people ever.
Right.
You are one of the best actors, you are one of the best models, you are one of the best DPs, you are one of the best at what you do. Everybody's good. But the difference between being good and being an actual professional is that professionals do it all the time. You do it every day. I act every day. I do something acting related every single day.
Yep.
And so teaching people how to be a professional, that's that deciding factor between the guy who's like, yeah, I put up 40 on LeBron. Yeah, but you're not a professional athlete. You're a really good athlete. You're not a professional at it because you don't know the business side of it. And so I teach people the business side and how to break that down and how to really learn themselves. It's an exercise in empathy on a daily basis, being an actor. Like I have to watch people. I have to be sensitive to people. Even if I feel like, oh, this guy is a multimillionaire and he's sad about something. What the hell do you have to be sad about? People do that stuff all the time to us, right? It's like, no, I'm a real breathing human still at the same time. I want things and I am disappointed in myself still. You're a real human being. So it's a study in empathy. Let me figure out myself, but also figure out the business side of it too, or else you're going to be the dopest actor sitting on the couch.
Wow.
No pun intended. It's a dope couch.
That's
but, you know.
crazy.
The dopest actor sitting on the couch.
Fellas, what y'all got for us, man? Do we have any interesting questions that we need to get off before we wrap up? Because, time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence, baby.
Time is of the
I'm
essence,
good.
man.
I really enjoyed this time.
Yeah, you know what?
This was a really great episode, bro. Like,
Thank you, man.
and I want to thank you for sharing your story, bro. Because, like,
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people, you're going to help a lot of people. You know what I mean? Give people a lot of courage to come out and talk about, things that have happened in their past, bro. So I just want to thank you for coming here, and we appreciate you.
Thank you for having me and providing a safe space, man.
Absolutely.
All right.
Because honestly, bro, this is the first time, I've spoken to you. And, a lot of times when we speak to people, we kind of know a little bit about them, right? But you gave us a lot, and I didn't even know what to expect, bro.
Yeah.
But you gave us so much. You gave us so, like, you speak so eloquently, right?
Thank you.
I feel like your spirit is just peaceful. And when we were speaking before the show, we were just talking, and just like that 5 minutes we spoke, I was like, oh, this dude is just really bright and articulate. And just to see how you spoke about, your situation, and just say, yo, I forgive this guy, right? I feel sorry for this guy, right? That's a higher level of emotional thinking that a lot of us could only imagine to get to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just that, giving us that, man, I really appreciate you. And I really just want to commend you for like doing the deep work throughout your life, you know what I mean? And getting to where you got to get, where you are right now, and sharing your story with us. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, bro. It means a lot to me.
Of course,
man.
bro, of course. Before we get out of here, I do want to ask you just two last questions, all right? So what is some advice that you now would give your younger self, and then what's some advice that you would give your older self?
I love this question. I make decisions in my life based on this strange little thing that I do. I always say, what would 12-year-old me say right now? Would 12-year-old me like me right now? I think 12-year-old me was probably the most mature, forward-thinking, business-minded, organized person I've ever been. That's the most organized version of me. At 12 years old, I would trust me to lead us right now at 12 years old more than I do at 35. And so I try to make decisions that would make me proud at 12, where I had all these plans to be this perfect man. You know what I mean? So what advice I would give 12-year-old me is to just have more fun, because I think I was a little bit too restricted and too serious and too pointed and too focused. I didn't let myself be a kid because, again, remember, at 9 years old, I was like, okay, I got to be the man of the house, you know? Stop doing that shit to kids too, man. That's not okay. Let them be kids. So I would tell me to enjoy my life more. Older me,
I guess it would be like more of a what to expect, right?
Sure.
If you're talking to your older self.
my older self, what I would tell myself to expect is still just more greatness. I want my best days and years to always be ahead of me until the day that I die. I always say the day that I stop learning and growing is the day that I want to die. When I get to a point where I feel like I've learned everything I possibly could, it's literally impossible. Then I think that I'm too far gone at that point. So I want to always be trying to push the envelope for myself and raising the bar a bit, but also that balance of being like, you know what? I don't regret anything. I tried everything that ever came into my mind. You know what I mean? When I could say that, I'll feel like I've, quote unquote, made it. When I've made a few more millionaires, when my kids have had every experience that life has to offer, when my wife has felt fully loved and fully cared for and has had her fairy tale, and I have too, when I've had an opportunity to feel weak and not be afraid to ask my brothers for help. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's such a big thing, is like, the day that I learned how to ask for help, I think I was like 29 years old, maybe. It's not been a long time. That really changed my life, where I was like, man, I'm gonna be weak in front of you and say, I don't got it right now, I'm hurt. I need help. Whether it be financially or time or advice, or like, I just need you to help me think this thing through. I don't know something. Not knowing something, that admission, you know what I'm saying? So when I've exhausted all of those realms, all those different possibilities and stuff like that as an older man, and I can say, you know what, I lived my life fully, then I could like really take my last breath and just chill on a lake somewhere, you know, at one of my cribs and still smack a big old booty.
Okay. Amen. Well, listen, bro, thank you for tapping in with us, man, giving us your time. I know your time is valuable. So just coming and rocking with us and just having a conversation, man. So we're super grateful. Guys, please, if you're listening or watching, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram at SER'DARIUS BLAIN, SERDARIUSBLAIN. Also my travel company, my travel club at Top Shelf Getaways on Instagram as well. And my production company, OneBloodProductionsInc.com.
Okay, y'all heard it. Make sure y'all tap in.
Boy, doing a lot.
Doing a lot.
Hey,
So much we couldn't even get to it. Couldn't even get to it.
But make sure you guys follow us as well on all social platforms. Nice Need the Podcast on TikTok, Nice Need the Podcast on Instagram, Nice Need the Podcast on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and also Facebook. My O is not gonna let me forget because I usually forget. But
congrats on the Revolt TV. Let's go. We in this thing.
Shout out to Revolt. Follow myself on Instagram at Duke. Follow O at Omar.Bowden and Jalon at Just Jalon. And until next time, guys, much love, much gratitude. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalon.
I'm SER'DARIUS BLAIN.
And this is another episode of Nice and Neat, and that's
If
that
they want
on
everything,
that.
I'll be the one to take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting older now, got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road, the rest get left behind. Yeah. To the hundreds, pledge allegiance, I stand.